The goofball finally admitted it and is facing real repercussions for his reckless, ridiculous, stupid stunt of crashing his plane for YouTube views. I'm about to blow a kazoo right now to celebrate. It feels so great. Now, a year ago I made a video talking about a situation with a YouTuber named Trevor Jacobs, who made a video, a sponsored video by the way, where he took off in his plane wearing a parachute, which is unusual for a pilot to just have a parachute strapped on him, as I understand it. And while flying the plane, he's like, oh, jeepers, Jiminy Christmas, something's gone wrong. We've lost the engine. And he has like 9 different GoPros set up, and then he just bails out of the plane like he had just accidentally pressed triangle in GTA. He just ejects from the plane and parachutes out with his selfie stick, of course, making sure to get all of the right angles. And then the plane just unpiloted free flies around and then eventually crashes into a mountain. Now, the reason I put an emphasis on the sponsored part of this video is because that played a role in his motivation to crash this plane for views. He said it was part of the sponsorship deal, so I imagine he wanted that shit to bang. So in his deranged little mind, he cooked up this unhinged idea of crashing his plane on purpose and parachuting out. Now, it's extremely dangerous, obviously, because he had no control over where that plane was going to crash. You know, it's not like he's the weather master. He wasn't on the ground doing some kind of fucking sacred wind dance or air bending to make sure the plane crashed into a mountain with nobody around. And even then, there could have been a hiker on the mountain or anything like that. But also, there's a town nearby where it crashed. So what very well could have happened is the plane could have just kept going, gliding, and then eventually being like a fucking terrorist attack on that town with the plane crashing through a business or a house or something. Just from top to bottom, the absolute dumbest fucking idea a pilot could ever have. And everyone immediately knew that something was fishy here. Everyone immediately pinned exactly what happened, that this was a planned viral stunt. Because in the video, you know, when shit's hitting the fan, he's like, zoinks! It's all going awry. He made no attempt to fix anything, correct anything. His first instinct was to jump out of the plane with a selfie stick filming him in the plane behind him, and then parachuting to the ground. And also, everyone immediately called out how fucking weird it was that he was flying with a parachute strapped to him already to begin with. That's not normal. That's not something most pilots do. So all of the red flags were immediately being tripped. Everyone was sounding the alarm that this was a planned ejection and viral stunt to crash the plane for the sponsor deal. And now the Johnny Sins of pilots is fully admitting it. He's just taken all the egg on his face. He is squealing. He's currently pleading guilty to the obstruction of a federal investigation by cleaning up the site of the crash. This is in reference to Jacob going out of his way to make sure that he gets the wreckage and destroyed it himself, which you obviously can't fucking do, especially with a high-profile maneuver like this, fucking crashing a plane. So it just goes over the situation here. So he's in a plea agreement, and he said that he filmed the video as part of a product sponsorship deal, and he's looking at a potential 20 years in the slammer for it, which it sounds about par for the course. Honestly, it's just lucky no one fucking died doing this. Again, he had no control over where that plane was going to crash. This could have been an unbelievable disaster, even more so than it already was. So he agreed to the plea deal and 1 felony count of destruction and concealment with intent to obstruct a federal investigation. He reported the crash to the National Transportation Safety Board, who said he was responsible for preserving the wreckage. According to the plea agreement, Mr. Jacob later claimed he did not know the location of the site, but he did and returned by helicopter and secured and removed the wreckage, which he later destroyed. So he's expected to make his initial court appearance in the coming weeks, and his pilot's license was revoked last year. All this for a drop of YouTube attention, potentially 20 years in prison because you're a starved little clout goblin who needed your fix. You needed your belly full. This has to be one of the most degenerate, terminally online ideas I've ever seen cooked up by somebody to not only reach a position in your life where you're like, I'm going to crash my expensive plane for views on my YouTube channel, but then to go through with it and then try and cover up all the evidence. I don't know how anywhere along the way he didn't stop and think, wow, this is going to fuck me. Because I can't even imagine a world where he would have got away with this. There was no set of circumstances where he would have somehow gotten through all of this without a problem. Everyone knew immediately that this was a planned ejection from the start. Nothing about it looked authentic or genuine. It was all so fucking cringe. Because even when he lands, after the parachuting, because he ejects from the plane, like, immediately. He, like, the second he sees, like, a fly hits the windshield, he's like, oh shit, I'm out. And then he just dives out there. And then the rest of the video is spent with him hiking and giving, like, motivational and inspirational speeches like, man, this is all part of God's plan. The Lord put that parachute on my back today. I woke up, and while brushing my teeth, I had a feeling, a tingle in my tummy that told me, wear a parachute today, Trevor. And I listened to that little tingler in my stomach, and it saved my life. Sometimes you just get a premonition, you gotta follow through with it, everyone. Sometimes there's a divine plan for you, and that plan for me today was to wear this parachute to save myself from a catastrophic accident. God damn it. Golly gee. And then he hikes over to the wreckage, and then he's like, oh God, look at this. This is terrible. I can't believe this happened. Why? Where did it all go wrong? It's a horrible video. He's a horrible actor. The whole plan was beyond ridiculous. It's just crazy. It's craziness. Jacob also admitted in his plea agreement that he intended to make money through the video. Fucking obviously, that was clearly the main motivator here, that internet clout and ad revenue from the video. He also admitted to lying to federal investigators after submitting an aircraft accident incident report and falsely claimed the plane fully lost power roughly half an hour after takeoff, the news release said. Also, it's pretty clear to everyone watching the video, the plane doesn't exactly just lose power out of nowhere. Everything that happens in the plane in the video actually just seems like a Disney ride. Like, it is just very fucking silly. It seems like that kind of shit that you have is like the pre-ride entertainment when you're waiting in line at Disney. It's embarrassing. And it's so poorly acted that it immediately tipped off people as stupid as me who have no clue about aircraft or anything aviation related. And I was like, yeah, this had to be fake. All of it was so clearly a stunt, a viral play for that ad revenue and that sponsorship bucks. Jacob also lied to a Federal Aviation Administration safety inspector when he said the airplane's engine had quit, and because he could not identify any safe landing options, he had to parachute out of the plane. And again, if you watch the video, he doesn't look for any safe landing options. He doesn't look anywhere except for where his selfie stick was. The closest thing that even comes to a panic is him trying to locate his selfie stick so he can make sure to get good footage. Everything else, he didn't even bother going through. There was no lists of checks that he was making to try and get the engine back online or trying to glide it to safety, looking for a safe landing spot. The dude actually just boot scooting boogies right out of the plane, letting it crash behind him. Well, not behind him, because it still like flew on its own for a little while before crashing into the side of a mountain. But yeah, overall, it is so nice to see him just fully admitting all of this. I mean, we all knew it was fake from the beginning. This isn't like a surprise to anybody. But it's nice to finally just get it from his mouth, and 20 years in prison for it sounds about par for the course. This could have ended a lot worse. Again, there was a town nearby. This could have just killed random people, all for this man's YouTube views. It's so ridiculous. So, just wanted to give a little update to this because when I was streaming today, watching the Moist Esports Rocket League squad absolutely pop off, chat made me aware that Trevor Jacob was finally facing the repercussions and just openly admitting all of it. So right after the games today, I went, checked everything with a big smile on my face, and I figured it was worth updating all of you who may have been, aware of the story but not following it that closely like I was. So looking like the happy ending here. Hopefully he does face that prison time because he absolutely deserves it. That's about it. See ya.